Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer-Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today.
Giant or somewhere in between. Round the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around. Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
Hello and welcome to Knocked Prone, a podcast of high crits, small fits, and varying wits. My name is Cade, and I'm the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the player,
Mason, playing the newly deceased La'kyr.
Awesome. So we wanted to have like an afterlife episode with La'kyr, kind of get like at least some sort of, if not conclusion, then something happening with the storyline to really either sum things up or continue with where things left off. And so, last session, the party did try to revive La'kyr, but for whatever reason, La'kyr's soul was unwilling or unable to come back to the material plane, so we're going to figure out what happened. So, La'kyr, you float effortlessly in this sea of red and blue energy that seems to pulsate artistically around you. And you can't really tell right away which plane Raven has seemingly banished you to. Because the last thing that you remember was Raven casting a spell, you casting counterspell, the counterspell failing, and then you're somewhere else. Everything around you really seems familiar, yet alien. You feel as though nothing has weight, and you pass familiar sights, and your groggy mind slowly begins to sharpen as you recognize some of these events swimming around you in this plane. They're ghostly memories from your life, really. You see years of your father locking you away without food for not performing well enough in your fighter practices, countless nights in libraries, studying up on each individual in Great Grumbopolis, yearning to switch places with them if even just for an instant, and finally, leading to your coronation day, where you received your aura. You look back at the faces of each of your classmates, and three stand out amongst the crowd. Your friends Litzy, Torin, and Tess. Emotions swell within you as you are hurled through the cacophony of adventures that would follow that day. Tess ripping through an unsuspecting ranger's leg, Torin flicking a gnoll out of existence, and Litzy turning into a hag on her 13th birthday. Slowly, the red and blue energy around you ceases. The memories that this plane is bringing up seem to stop happening as you realize that you're caught up with where you are right now. A silence around you playfully dances across your ears as you are left in a sea of emptiness and debris. You begin to become more aware of your surroundings as you recognize this place to be the astral void. A patch of astral grass appears underneath you, and you see other ghostly figures floating around this endless void. Through the sea of faces, a familiar face appears. You see the ghost of Boggy Billy.
Boggy?
Hey, La'kyr, how are you doing?
Where are we?
Oh, I think this is called the Astral Void. Not really familiar with this place too much.
But why would she banish me here? Why are you here?
Why am I here? Well, I don't know. I feel like I just saw you maybe moments ago. We were just talking. I gave you some of my stew. You went back into the fort. I waved goodbye to you. I met another man, and we had a conversation, and, well, I don't really remember much after that other than the void.
Boggy, I'm so sorry. You're dead.
Oh,
My father tracked you down after you helped us, and thought it fit to make an example of you. Am I dead?
a slight twinge of melancholy kind of thrums in your chest. You start thinking about the potential of you dying. A wizard taken out of his prime much too soon. But you kind of shake it off. You're like, no. Boggy Billy's dead. I was transported here. It's fine.
I've actually been wanting to see you. I didn't expect alive, but... And I'll reach back for the wish scroll, which I assume...
You have no belongings with you.
I intended to bring you back. And I'll kind of just look around the space and say, is this what you want, Raven? To torture me? I thought you needed me. What have you done since being sent here?
Oh, me? And Boggy Billy, like, kind of looks distracted, but he turns back to you as obviously he's kind of taken aback by the thought of him being dead. And he will aim his gaze back at you and he'll just say, well, I mean, I've been doing what I did in the material plane. I've been helping folk out as much as I can, trying to guide them along into something better. And, well, lots of people down here are lost, and I'm kind of lost myself, but you know, it's a great thing to do when you're lost is to keep on going. And so that's what I'm doing.
You think there's a way out of here?
Oh, I haven't found one yet. I've tried to lead a lot of spirits around here, maybe to where their place is, but found no success. We just kind of hang out here, and you'll just like notice that there are so many, like, just ghosts floating around here, and none of them really have any point or direction.
Well, once I figure out how to get out of here, I'll bring you back. I promise. I have the means, actually, not with me now, but I had the means on me. I can do it. I can bring you back, you can see your family, and you can be back to the forests. I promise. Would you be willing to help me get out of here? I need to get back.
Of course, yeah, I can help you out.
Let's do it. You and I. You are an accomplished navigator, and I an accomplished wizard. We can find our way out together.
Okay. Well, I can help you out, but I don't know if I need to go back. I know I just recently realized that I'm dead, but there's a certain peacefulness here. I did good on the material plane. I enjoyed helping people out, but look at how many people I can help down here. And, well, if you could be my first victory case, then I guess that'll be something that I can hold on to, and maybe we'll see. Maybe if you want to bring me back to the material plane, you have the means to, by all means, I might come back. But until then, let's get going.
Yes, and as we're kind of going, I'll just relay to him, your child's doing well. We cured the rot of the forest while you were gone. Tess did, more specifically. He's been a great guardian, and your child misses you. Quite a great deal, though.
Oh.
I promised them I'd bring you back. I understand if you don't want to, but just think about it while we travel.
Of course. No, I never set my mind to something that can't be changed. I'm a man who has developed and changed and is used to change over my life, and so I never want to set myself to something that could be wrong. So if by the end of this you convince me that I need to go back, then by all means I'd love to go back and be with the trees and help your friends out again.
Well, let's set off then. Are you aware of any threats in the area?
No. Lots of people around here doing what you and I are doing, kind of floating around here.
Let me go first. I'm a practicer of defensive magics. If anything does stand to threaten us, then we can go. And I'm going to attempt to cast mage armor on myself.
Yeah.
Does it work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My magic works. I knew I wasn't dead. And I'll continue trekking on with him for a while.
Yeah. So you guys travel through this large sea of people, each souls, some seemingly depressed and crying, some seemingly fighting against the sea of people and trying, if anything, to find a way back to where they were, and a large sea of people that are at peace and coming to terms with what has happened and how life ended and how they're now here. and Boggy Billy kind of leads you through the sea of people, and you reach this large sea of people who have come to this acceptance state, and he motions over to one and says, "Hey, I think you've been here the longest. I wanted to ask you if you ever knew anything getting out of here. You never know anyone to come out or to get out of here? You've been here for, I don't know, since the beginning." And around will turn this man. I want to say man, but he's kind of like a form of stars, like constellations almost. Just this large, pinkish, bluish form of stars collected. And he looks over at the two of you and, in like a very deep, throaty voice, says,
"Oh, I don't really know much. I know that I'm dead, and well, I have been here a while, but I think I've heard tale amongst the other stars. There's been a handful of people who have actually returned, whether that's outside forces or their own will, I know not."
That's wonderful. I think it should be easier for me. I'm alive. I've just been transported here somehow. Perhaps it'll make it easier for a return trip? I'm not sure. Where did the people who... you don't see them anymore? Where did they go? Where can I go?
I checked the outskirts, so, you just travel...
And then he points at a few constellations, and he just says,
Just fly right on through here?
kind of like a Peter Pan second star to the right and straight on till morning scenario, and he points and directs you, telling you, like,
I directed them here, and, well, they haven't been back, so I assume it worked.
Thank you for the directions, sir. I guess we better be off. Let me see if I can get a scout of the things. And you said I'm weightless. Can I just like push off the ground and float up?
Yep, you 100% are able. It's like being on the moon, but with less gravity. Like,
Okay.
But you were very much in control of how high you were able to rise and fall.
Okay. I just want to go and just get up and see if I can see where outskirts begin, or like where he might be pointing to, like just trying to navigate a path.
As you start thinking about this path, little stone bricks start appearing next to your feet, with little tufts of grass poking out between every third one. And it seems a stone path heard whatever plane you are in, heard your voice of wanting to go towards the outskirts, and has created somewhat of a path for you to follow.
I'll call down a bit excitedly. Boggy, look, I created this. Maybe? I don't know, but I think we should follow it.
Okay, yeah. And Boggy Billy will float up with you.
I'll just recount, telling him just kind of the adventures that we had been through in the Feywild since he had died, and just kind of, tell him our tales as we walk along.
Yeah. And he'll listen intently, asking, the occasional question of like, wait a minute, who's this Jack guy? I thought you just had 3 people in your party when I first met you. But yeah, you recount this tale and you walk for a while, and eventually you come upon this urban city looking thing where things are dark. Stars have spread out far enough that they look like flickering light bulbs connected to street posts, and a somewhat city that looks like an outskirt destination that was described to you appears, and there are occasional lost souls kind of wandering around, seemingly looking for what you're looking for, and again in various states of either acceptance, depression, anger, etc.
Okay. I'll kind of go up to just probably one of the first ones I see and say, excuse me, I was told that there's an exit nearby here.
Hello, yeah, I was looking for the exit too. I don't really know where it is. I've been looking for a minute, but if you find it, go ahead and tell me. I'll be over there. He points to a lamppost, and he walks over to the lamppost and takes a seat on this park bench and immediately starts massaging his very tired feet.
Okay. There's got to be someone. I'll go around to just a few others. Do I get the same answer from them, or?
Generally, it seems that most of the people here are looking for what you are looking for.
Okay, I'll kind of... They're just stuck. We're just stuck. I don't understand. There can't be nothing. I know. And I'll turn to Boggy Billy, and I'm going to attempt to spell magic on myself to see if I can unbanish myself back to the material plane. 17, so
With a 17, you expertly craft this dispel magic in your hands and throw it up into the world, and it like twinkles back down on you, trying to dispel this magic.
And I'll close my eyes, like expecting and waiting.
Yeah, you feel it tingles from like your chest and it starts to grow. And when you open your eyes, you see Boggy Billy looking up at you. Did it work?
No. What's going on? And if I attempt to move like myself, do I move through myself? Like, am I corporeal? Because at this point, I'm thinking of putting like my hand up to my head, and I'm wondering if it would actually stick or if it would just kind of fool.
So when you place your hand on your head, it does meet where you want it to go instead of like going through you or anything.
This doesn't make sense. That should have worked. I cast the spell well enough. Am I dead? Am I dead, Billy?
I don't really know if you're dead. I don't really know if I'm dead.
You are.
I am?
I saw you.
Oh.
And everyone else. They're dead too. But... No, I'm not supposed to die. That wasn't how this ended. I was supposed to have revenge. I was supposed to make my father pay. I was supposed to make a new world. This isn't the way I was supposed to go. This can't be the way I was supposed to go. Boggy, you have to fix it. Please, fix this.
Okay. I think I might know of something. I didn't want to bring it up, as it's had some bad press about it around here. There's a little shop down the way. I've never really been here, but I've heard people who've come back from here talk about a shop where they make deals. You want a deal? That's where I think you should go. But it's shady.
I don't care. I've made shadier deals in real life. I have nothing to lose now. Where's the shop?
He'll direct you and past where you saw the man sit down next to the lamppost and start massaging his feet. You see a sign similar to almost like tarot card readings, where it has like the third eye in this like pyramid, and there's light coming out from it, and it says Afterlife Deals.
Okay. I'll go and I'll hug Boggy Billy and just thank you for everything. You were the first kind person to me, with nothing to benefit, and I will forever be grateful for that kindness.
Anytime. I was just doing my part. I know that it's not really a big job trying to help people find their way, but it made me happy. And if I can make people happy and make myself happy, then what am I doing wrong, you know? That's the way of life, I think, is to try and create the most happiness that I can create and help as much people as I can help.
That is a very noble outlook. I wish that it were true in everyone's mind. I have things to do, and I think that you do too.
Yeah.
If I don't come back, I was your first victory.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Anytime. I'm going to go over here, sit next to this man who's massaging his feet, and see if I can help out.
All right. And I'll enter the shop.
Yeah. So you enter into this shop, and you kind of expected it to be a little more cozy. You expected it, from the outside, it looked very small and quaint. Like maybe like a 30-foot cube of a room, but it is massive, and it might be 30 feet wide, but it stretches on endlessly. And you see, similar to bank teller windows, you know how they have the little stalls and there's a person standing behind glass and they talk to you? Mm-hmm. So like kind of like Green Gots. It's massive, and there are various people sitting behind these counters and helping souls and talking to them and taking them back into separate rooms, benefiting them with their deals back there.
Okay, I'll just keep walking until I find either an open place, or I'll wait behind someone who is already there and just try to talk to somebody.
Yeah, you find an open line. It takes you maybe 30 slots down for you to find an open line, but there is a green light above one of the windows, and a nice elven woman beckons you closer and says, "Next in line, please."
I'll kind of walk up and... I was told I could make a deal. I need to get back to the Marshall Plain.
Oh my goodness, that sounds urgent.
Indeed, I have things unfinished, and I'd do anything to reach them.
Anything.
Anything.
And she flips through this large book, and she asks, "What type of wait time are you expecting?"
I don't know. Things are happening now. There was a battle. Litsy's in trouble. My friends might be being killed or tortured right now. It's urgent.
Well, I don't have any openings with any of our more respected people for... She flips through her book for seemingly a while. We have an opening in 4 years with one of our specialists.
I can't wait 4 years. 4 years will mean that they are dead or the place is overrun. I need it now. Who are you meeting with? Who can I appeal to?
She'll look to her right and to her left, and she's got these little half-crescent moon glasses that she peers down to the bottom of her nose. She draws you in a little closer to the window, and she says, "We're working with deities to bring people back. But
I know one.
you know one.
One that owes me.
Oh,
I brought her back. Vecna.
shh." She shushes you, and a few of the other lines kind of gasp and look over at you, and
I'll just shoot them glares back.
and, yeah, the lady will be like, "Oh no, we were just talking about the forbidden section. He didn't really know what he was just reading the name off the list I showed him. But go back to what you said. Shh, we're not supposed to talk about Vecna."
Why?
Well, she's not necessarily the most keen god on deals. She's evil, and whatever deal she makes is usually, well, evil.
I knew she was not trustworthy, but evil's new. What would I have to do to meet with her? She owes me.
I don't necessarily have any meeting times with her in the near future, and she'll give you a little wink as she's she seems to be booked out. And then she starts writing down on a piece of paper some information, and just continues to tell you, "But I'm sure if you meet with one of our other representatives, they can get you a pleasant deal right back to the material." And then she'll rip off the piece of paper and give it to you as she finishes with, "Right back to the material plane."
And I'll probably throughout this be a sputtering little defiances to what she's saying,
Right.
not really catching on until she hands me an all. "Oh, yes, it is terribly unfortunate I wasn't able to find what I was looking for today. You have been lovely, though. Thank you, and goodbye." And I'll start waving to certain people with a smile on my face as I exit.
Wonderful. Yeah. So you take this piece of paper that this kind elven woman has handed you, and you exit out of the deal making portion
I'll
of
probably
the
be
astral
reading
void.
it on my way out, just peeking it open just to kind of see what's inside.
Yeah, so in the note, it will detail that Vecna only comes to those that are willing to make sacrifices for her. And generally, she will come to you if you entice her with a good deal or with something for instance, she underlined, if she owes you, you might want to bring that up.
As I read that, all right. And looking around and understanding that Vecna probably isn't the most... obviously isn't the most beloved god, I'm going to just try to find a secluded area, basically just away from people, indoors if possible. You said it was kind of an urban area.
There's an apartment complex that doesn't have any tenants, but it seems to be deserted.
Okay. I will enter in and go until I feel like I am far enough in that no one's going to hear me from outside.
Okay.
And I am just going to... Vecna, I call on you again. Hear me. I have made sacrifices before for your benefit, and I will do so again if you simply do as I ask. I'm not asking much, and I promise it'll be worth your while. Vecna, please. And I'll open my eyes and just look around the room. Is anything changed?
Yes. So as you state this, you feel humidity almost in the air around you. Your breathing becomes much more labored, and this silence around you almost seems to be mulling over your question before, in a swirl of shadows, the body of Vecna will appear before you. And you see that the Vecna that you brought back into the world, that was Vivian, as she wanted to be called by, or Viv, she has aged considerably. She is now within her 20s rather than being a 14-year-old.
When I see her appear, I'll kind of stand up and nonchalantly but shakily be just like, "Hey Viv, been a little while. I'm dead."
So it appears you are.
All right. Well, I know what I need to do. I want to make a deal.
Oh.
Something you need for something I need.
If you'll scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Has always been how I play.
Of course. I need to be brought back to life. You need power. Am I wrong?
Well, the Church of Vecna, one might say, is emptier than I would like it to be.
I cannot pledge myself to you. We're business partners.
Of course.
But I do not serve you as we have established. However, I'd be willing to find someone to do your bidding.
Wonderful.
I need other things. I need the staff that brought you back.
Right. The one that stopped magic, correct?
Correct. All magic. Do you think it would be powerful enough to bring down Great Grumbopolis?
Oh, I know it would be powerful enough to bring down Great Grumbopolis, but with bringing down Great Grumbopolis would come many casualties.
Of course, souls. They're your source of power. God's source of power. Am I wrong?
You are not wrong. I need more souls in order to gain more power. The more followers that I have to bring me more souls, the better.
Give me the means, and I will collect the souls of those that fall from Great Grumbopolis.
Wonderful. And these souls of Great Grumbopolis, how many would you say are up there?
I'm not sure. From living in there, and as you said, like, I used to just read everyone's things. How many books would I have thought that I would have read? Like, just an estimate of how many people.
It's within the thousands. There is a lot of people in that city.
I can guarantee a couple thousand at least. I can't promise everyone, but there may be some that my friends wish to save before things happen, but I have no care for them. I only care for the revenge on my father, and I will do what it takes to achieve that.
Well, I'm very much interested in that, seeing that you have something that could help me greatly. And, well, a god as myself doesn't trifle with details, so here's what I propose. I think that you say you can provide a couple thousand. Let's go 3,000. Does that sound like a good number?
Does that seem reasonable?
That seems reasonable, yeah.
Done.
All right. Well, what I will do is I will place a symbol of Vecna, my eye, and she'll pop out one of her eyes, and you'll see the very familiar religious symbol of the eye of Vecna, and then she'll pop the eye back in and say, my eye will be placed on the forearm of 3,000 souls within Great Grumbopolis. But if 3,000 souls are not delivered to me, then I will place more eyes of Vecna on all the survivors. And as soon as they die, the souls are collected.
All right, fine. But I need one final thing.
Okay.
You lied to me. In my deal, we said no enchantment magic, and you lied. I need a promise. A promise of the Feywild, that after our business is done, you leave me, Litzy, Torin, Tess, and the people of Fort Outcast alone for the remainder of my life.
How old are you?
13.
How old do you live?
13, but I don't know. From the books, elves live anywhere from 600 to 1,000 years.
Seems like a justifiable long enough time for me to wait.
The rest of the martial plane is yours to influence as you deem fit. My circle of influence is off limits.
Okay.
A fey bargain.
You say you, Tess, Litzy, and Torin. Is that your list?
And the people of Fort Outcast.
And the people of Fort Outcast.
Those who remain within.
I can do that. 1,000 years is not that long to wait for me. I am timeless. And like an evil grin will like kind of appear from her face, and then it will subside as she looks at you and she says, I'm sorry that I lied.
No, you're not. But it's in the past.
I'm sorry that I was caught in a lie then. It's never as fun to have people find that you've been dishonest with them. But what are you supposed to do as the god of secrets? And she'll like smile again.
Secrets are how I've survived. I understand. As part of this fey bargain, you're familiar with how they work.
Right.
Should either of us break our word, we'll die. My soul will be yours, or in the case you break yours to me, your soul and power will be mine. Do we have a deal? I need something to keep you to your word, as you haven't been particularly honest in the past.
Deal. And she'll like outraise her hand and give you a very cold and bony shake, and as she gives you this handshake, you'll feel your body start to formulate around you, but then it stops and you feel a shell of yourself. And Vecna will say, in order for this deal to be completed, I need to tie up your last deal. You need to bring a soul back with you to the material plane. When we last spoke, I had you bring me a soul.
Correct.
Phoenix is waiting for you. He's scared and he's alone, and that's not right. And, well, I want him to be back with you in a measure of good faith. I think that this will show you that I mean our deal.
Of course, I'll be honest, I thought that was going to be something I had to trek deep into the Fowfell to actually achieve, but thank you.
Of course. Well, I cannot do it. I can transport you to the Shadowfell whenever you're ready.
Yes, of course, now? Now.
And she'll snap her fingers, and these black tendrils will formulate around you, and you will disappear and reappear back in the Shadowfell. As you appear into the Shadowfell, you recognize a lot of things. You seem to be up north, kind of near where Great Grumbopolis was, where the Winter Court kind of sat a little more towards the north, and you see lots of things around you, but everything is dark. There's no color. It is gray, gloomy. The souls that are here and creatures that are here all seem to be filled with more rage and malice than you would expect regular creatures. You see frogs eating other frogs, just this huge wilderness of just darkness. And you get the sense that if you need to know where you need to go, that you can rely on Vecna again, who has that absence of light beacon that she can send you to.
As I'm looking around and seeing all the aggressive creatures around me, I want to pull out my bag of wands and attempt to take one out.
You do not have any of
I
equipment.
do not have any of my equipment.
You have
Okay.
no equipment with
So I don't have my sword either.
No.
Okay. Then instead, I will just look around and try to find the gleam that we talked about, of Vecna.
So you peer around these trees, and you notice that the gleam is southwest of where you are currently sitting. It seems to be several miles away.
Okay. Being just offset by the creatures that are around me, I would like to cast Fly on myself.
Wonderful.
Just to basically travel as far as I can with that to avoid most creatures. I know there are things that can fly too,
Right.
but I'm hoping that this gets me around some of the things. So,
Yeah, roll me a stealth check with advantage.
okay. A 16?
16. Most of these creatures are not really looking for young, half-dead wizards flying through the air, so you are able to really get by without any detection or problems. So with Fly, you are able to quickly get to where you need to be going. You double your pace, and as well as you don't have to go through the foliage that is the world below, you hear lots of screams below you of seemingly creatures who have gotten got.
While doing this, can I also just be on the lookout? I'm not looking to collect anything now, but if particular plants catch my eye, or if something that seems magical, or like a ferocious or magical creature that seems to stand out, or something like that, just to make note of it on if I ever return type of thing.
Yeah, so you make me an investigation.
Okay. 17.
So with your perception check, you are able to perceive the land in front of you, and you notice, I'll say, 3 different species of plants and or animals that you want to jot down and come back to later.
Okay.
So you look around as you're flying, and you notice these 3 species that particularly catch your eye, mainly because they don't seem as devoid from color as the rest of the plants, flora, fauna, and animals around. So you take like a mental note as to where they are and think like, okay, if I ever come back here, I will come back for these. And you are able to basically get to immediately where the shining, the absence of shining is happening. And you notice this place to be Boggy Billy's campsite.
Oh, okay.
But a Shadowfell version of Boggy Billy's campsite. The stew is still burning, but there is still a pot of stew, and it seems devoid of help. There is no Fort Outcast. It is barren, basically.
Okay, I'm gonna, on my way down, I'm gonna snap a branch from a tree.
Okay.
And just go and I'll cast Prestidigitation to clean it all off, and then I'm just gonna go stir the stew and just stop it from burning, like, at least for a little bit.
Okay. As you approach the stew, make me a perception check.
Natural 20.
Oh, nice! You break off a branch, and you hear a rustling in the bushes. And as you start to approach this stew, 2 creatures leap out and snarl at you. You see familiar creatures. One being the shadow form of Phoenix, one being the shadow dragon that you had in your possession. And they snarl at you, seemingly angry with you. And go ahead and roll me initiative.
Okay.
You will have a surprise round because you got a natural 20 and your perception.
Fair. Thank you. A 16. Would Fly would have worn off by now? Or would I have any time remaining? I'm just wondering in case I need to recast it.
You have about, I'd say, a minute left on Fly.
Okay.
You are near Boggy Billy's stew, and you are surrounded by Shadow Phoenix, who is about 20 feet away from you in the trees, and the Shadow Dragon that you had in your possession, who's also about 20 feet away from you. And you got the jump on things, so go ahead and take a surprise round with your natural 20.
Okay. Just because I feel like this would be a thing my character would do, I'm going to stand with my back to the Shadow Phoenix and say, Phoenix, stay back. I'll protect us. And I'm going to cast, I will immediately cast Lightning Bolt at level 4 at it.
Okay, so it got an 18 on its dexterity save.
The save is 17, so yes, that will, actually, I don't have my gauntlet with me either, do I?
Oh, no.
Okay, so it's, my save is 16.
Okay.
So it'll take 18 points
18?
of lightning damage.
Okay, it takes 18 points of lightning damage, and it rears its head back, so upset. And with that, is that the end of your turn?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, you are at the top of the initiative again. Since that was your surprise round, you are fully able to take a second action.
Okay. I am going to fly up and kind of away from him, trying to just distract him from Phoenix.
Away from Shadow Phoenix?
Yeah, because I don't want him to be hit by like a breath weapon or something. Right. So I'm going to fly just about 15 feet in the air. So I'm going to cast Scorching Ray.
Okay.
At 3rd level.
All right.
8. So 11.
Does not hit.
Okay. 25.
Does hit.
18.
That will also hit.
So 19.
19? A 19 also hits. So
Okay.
3 of these bolts will strike forward and hit this dragon.
Okay, so 5 points of fire damage,
Okay.
4 points of fire damage, and 4 more points. So 14 points total.
13.
13 points, my bad.
So with 13 points of fire damage and 18 points of lightning damage, you notice that this dragon is barely hanging on to life right now.
And I'm just gonna yell at it. I'm over here. Focus me.
Okay. Yeah. So you taunt it. Roll me an intimidation, in fact.
14 minus 1 for 13.
Okay. Yeah, you get the Shadow Dragon's attention fully, and it is not even concerned about Shadow Phoenix at the moment. But with that, it is going to be Phoenix's turn in combat.
Okay.
And seeing that you are 15 feet in the air, it cannot do anything, and so it's going to crawl into this pot of stew. With that, Phoenix ends its turn by hiding. You no longer know where Phoenix went, which is probably concerning. But with that, it's going to be the Shadow Dragon's turn. The dragon will unfurl its giant necrotic wings and flap twice, going directly at you, and it will be about 10 feet away from you. I'm going to need you to make me a dexterity saving throw as this stream of multicolored necrotic energy starts lashing out at you.
Not great. 13.
13. Unfortunately, that's going to fail. So you're going to take 4d6 of necrotic damage. You will take 15 points of necrotic damage.
Okay, so 4 of that is blocked by my ward.
Okay, wonderful. And that will be the end of the dragon's turn.
Okay.
It's back to you.
Okay. I am just going to fly straight up above and just once again try to cast like lightning bolt, just like straight down into the ground.
Right. So he got a natural 20, but it doesn't matter because even with a natural 20, he has 2 hit points left.
Okay.
So go ahead and tell me how your lightning bolt kills this dragon.
Yeah, no, I just want to I want it to be almost like I'm calling the lightning from the sky. Obviously, I'm not, but I just want it to hit and go just like straight through the head, and then just straight through the head is what I'm aiming for.
Okay.
But it made it safe, so like through the back is what I'll do instead.
Yeah, wonderful. So you hit the dragon in it, like in the notch between its wings, and it falls stomach towards the sky, down towards the ground. Its wings stop flapping, and it falls and hits the ground deceased. And the smoky black tendrils that made up this dragon now dissolve, and the smoke dissipates over the land around you. And with that, is that the end of your turn?
I would look around, not see Phoenix, and Phoenix, where'd you go?
Phoenix is going to continue to hide. You don't really know where Phoenix is, and with that, that is the end of his turn. And it is back around to you. The dragon is now dead.
I will just fly down to so 15 feet down. So like I'll just kind of be around the area I was at, and because I saw him like in this area, so I'll be looking that direction and I'll say, Phoenix, it's all right. The danger's past. I'm here to take you home.
You will hear a slight mew coming from the cauldron that is Boggy Buildy's cauldron.
I'll just walk over and say, what are you doing in there, silly?
It's going to use its held action.
I figured to attack me.
Yeah. It will use its bite attack against you. That is going to
I'm going
be...
to shield just before you say the number.
Okay, wonderful. That's an 18 to hit.
So I would be at 16 with mage armor and then 21 with shield.
Yeah, so does not hit. Phoenix leaps out of the cauldron and attempts to bite at you, fails biting at you, and kind of leaps off of your chest. I'm going to need you to make me a strength save.
Okay. Not bad. 15?
A 15 passes.
Okay.
It's a small fox.
Yeah.
So you are not knocked prone. And with that, that is the end of Shadow Phoenix's turn, and it is back around to you.
Is it just right next to... Is he right next to me?
Yes, right next to you.
I'm just gonna... Phoenix, what has gotten into you? And I'm not going to attack.
Okay.
I'm going to just lower myself down, so I'm actually technically am prone. And like almost like you would beckon to a dog, and I'm just like, I'm here, Phoenix. Just come. And I'm gonna hold my action.
Okay. Make me a perception check, actually, as you are looking with advantage, because you are looking directly at Phoenix right now.
Natural 1, natural 20.
So with a natural 20, you look directly into Phoenix's eyes. This Phoenix is devoid of anything you've ever known to be your familiar. This Phoenix has the shape of your familiar, but it is not the same Fox, basically. It seems that this is a trick. This is a mind game that has been played upon you that is trying to test you.
Yeah, so seeing that, you're not Phoenix. And instead of actually doing any aggressive action, just because I still feel sympathetic towards it a bit, I am going to cast Armor of Agathis on myself. I'll cast it at 3rd level, so that way I can absorb 15 points.
Yeah.
That seems like enough.
Phoenix is going to, again, try and attack you, and gets a natural 19 for a 24 to hit.
Yes, I would have used shield anyway, so I am going to mark that off, but yes, it hits.
Okay. And then you will take 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay.
But does your Armor of Agathis absorbs that, correct?
My ward absorbs 4, and
Okay.
then armor absorbs 5, so it's at 10 left.
Wonderful.
And it takes 15 points of cold damage.
So it attempts to leap off of your chest, but as its paws hit this cold damage, it poofs out of existence, and the shadows that were circling around the ground that the dragon created and the shadows that Phoenix also created start to morph into this cauldron that was Boggy Billy's cauldron.
I would probably just watch it happening and look in, tempted to both counterspell the magic, if there's anything like dispel magic, but also needing to see if this is what brings back Phoenix, so he'd see it out.
The stew seemingly starts to smolder and eventually starts to burn, actually, as the shadows
I'll take the stick and start stirring it like I intended to originally.
Okay, so you start stirring this stew, and you hear a and
Phoenix?
Phoenix jumps out of the cauldron, not even an astral beast anymore, fully formed fox Phoenix that seems to have the astral capabilities that it had while you had it as a companion. And so you now have Phoenix back.
My animal companion.
Yeah, and so he jumps onto your chest, knocks you prone. Go ahead and take a point of inspiration.
No, I'll... and immediately as he jumps up, I'll just dispel the Armor of Agathis so that nothing can potentially happen. And I'll just grab him and hold him up to my chest on my arm. I've missed you so much.
And he'll start like licking at your face, and you can see these little like tears almost of relief because he's been alone and here and had nobody to look after him. And so
I betrayed you, and I understand if you don't want me as your elven companion any longer, but I would love to have you back if you have me.
and Phoenix goes mew and like skitters up your side, and like it's like a little loop around your torso until it's sitting like a little scarf around your neck.
And familiar with that, I will let out just a sigh of just absolute relief. Like when you get home and pet your dog for the first time and stuff, like just that sense of peacefulness for the first time in a while, probably.
You hear Vecna's voice boom over the Shadowfell and say, "Wonderful. You're back with your companion. I'm very excited to be working with you, La'kyr."
And I you.
Slowly, these like black tendrils again will formulate over you almost like a cocoon and encapsulate your entire body, and you feel the corporealness that you had before when you were like half revived solidify, and you become full La'kyr again, and you wake up in the camp of Boggy Billy surrounded by all of your friends, and you see Jack, you see Litzy, Torin, and Tess. You also see Boggy Billy. Beyond Boggy Billy, you see a burned down forest. You see that Fort Outcast has disappeared, and you also see on your arm a small black insignia of the Eye of Vecna. And with that, I think that's where we're going to end our episode for tonight. My name is Cade, and I'm the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the player
Mason, playing La'kyr.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, Mason, for being here and doing such a great job playing La'kyr. I'm very excited to have you back. The thing that I regret most about your character death was not giving you any last words, because I know you had something just great stocked up for that. So maybe sometime we'll have to ask you what your final words would have been as La'kyr in one of our after the show interviews that we will post to our Patreon. Speaking of Patreon, if you like our show, go on over to patreon.com/Dungeons patreon.com/knocked, and consider supporting our page. For as little as $2 a month, you can get insane amounts of behind the scenes content that we produce here at Knocked Prone. And it really helps us out to continue to produce this show at the quality that we produce it. And we hope that you remember that when life knocks you flat on your back, all you have to do is keep rolling. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.